Internet, my name's Sammy Fightmaster and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So welcome to my spoiler video for season 1 of The Wilds. Obviously, if you have not watched season 1 of The Wilds, I'm going to be talking about some pretty big spoilers, so if you do not want to be spoiled, don't watch this video. I did do a non-spoiler review video that I posted earlier, so I'll have a link to that down in the description if you don't want to be spoiled. But otherwise, let's get into it. So in this video, I'm pretty much going to talk about all of the theories that I have so far about things that have happened in season 1 and just some questions that I still have. Now, I have watched this show 2 times all the way through since it came out. Seeing it a second time through, knowing what you already know about the season, it's easier to pick up like those little details that they left in various places, but there are still things I don't know what's happening. So we'll talk about it together. Now, my brain is kind of all over the place with things that happened in the show that I want to talk about, and I'm going to try my best to stay as chronologically correct as I can, like going through the episodes. Obviously, we'll get into going in order in just a second, but if you have seen any of my videos before, you know I love a good queer storyline. So obviously, we got to start off this video by talking about Shoni. We just have to. I love Toni and Shelby. I think once we finally got to their relationship, I think they're really cute together and can be really good. Now, I first found this show by scrolling through TikTok. I saw an ad for it on my For You page, and I was like, 8 girls stranded on an island. There's a pretty good chance somebody's gonna be gay on there. So I was like, we're watching it. And obviously, I was right about that. So thank you, TikTok. Now, obviously, Toni's got some anger issues that she's trying to work through. And there were at times where I was like, ooh, that's a little too much for me. But once her and Shelby get together, she really calms down. And I'm hoping that that kind of continues into season 2. Toni in a relationship is very different from Toni not in a relationship. I think we can all agree about that. I can't wait for season 2 just because of them. Now, the other half of Shelby, I could feel the tension from the first episode between them. Like, I knew something was going to happen between them. I didn't know that we were going to learn everything that we did about Shelby's past. I was glad to see that and see kind of where she came from and what's gone into getting her to this point. And I'll get into all that a little bit later in this video, but I just had to throw out how excited I was for Shoni. And they're pretty much all over my TikTok For You page right now. So I'm not complaining about it. I'm really enjoying that. So let's start off with the reason that all of this is happening, and that is Gretchen. Now, first of all, my big question for her is I want to know, what did she do to get fired from her professor job that she had? My guess is that she brought up something about possibly doing this kind of experiment, and they were like, no, girl, that's a little much. So I'm thinking that might have been a reason. Gretchen is a little bit, I don't know how to put it. I'm going to say cray. She shows her colors throughout this entire first season and proves basically she really wanted this experiment to happen and nothing was stopping it. So, like, I understand her reason for wanting to do the experiment, and it's a little hard to legally do it. But I think she definitely crossed the line multiple times. So obviously I think she played a huge role in everybody being on the plane. That's pretty evident. And you see throughout the season why she basically handpicked everybody. I think that it's a little crazy, a little messed up. Starting off with episode 1, where we learn about Leah's not so great relationship with an older man. She goes a little head over heels with Jeff. And let's just, first of all, what kind of school lets a teenage girl drive a 30-year-old man back to his hotel? What kind of school does that? Like, that's red flag number 1. No, girl. This dude, I didn't like him from the beginning. When I saw their little sparks happening, I'm like, this is not gonna be good at all. I didn't think that she was lying about her age to him until obviously we found out that she did. So obviously that relationship ended and sent Leah into the spiral that Gretchen kind of needed her in to get to this plane and get to the island to be in the experiment. My thoughts are Gretchen's the one that sent Jeff Leah's birth certificate. So we found out that that's why their relationship ended, is he realized, oh my God, I'm a predator, and, you know, had to back out of that relationship. And we saw Leah accuse her best friend, I think his name's Ian, in either episode 5 or 6. I can't remember which one we come back to Leah in. And she accuses him of sending Jeff the birth certificate because I guess he knew about the relationship the whole time, which, I mean, like, honestly, wouldn't blame him if he tried to put an end to that relationship, but he said that he didn't. I kind of believe him. So my thoughts are Gretchen's the one that sent the birth certificate to Jeff because it would really help Gretchen out. Now that's not been confirmed, but I feel like that seems like something Gretchen would do. So it makes sense to me. But that sent our main character into the great depression and paranoia that she has to struggle with now for the rest of the season. I'll be honest, the later we got into the season, Leah kind of scares me. Like, I don't know if Leah would be somebody that I hang around all the time. This show, as dark as it got, had so many funny moments. It's really sad, but when they buried Jeanette and they're doing like the a cappella version of a Pink song, I laughed. I should not have, because like obviously that's bad. Somebody just died, but I'm like, oh my goodness. Like, it's one of those scenes where it's so bad you just feel like you have to laugh. So now, moving on from Leah, I want to get into Rachel and kind of the things surrounding episode 2. I have a lot of questions and theories that go with the information that we learned in just the second episode. First off, at the end of the episode, Rachel's talking to the dudes and she puts her arm up on the table and you see she doesn't have a hand anymore. And so we learn later on at the very end of the show what happened, but that wound is like almost healed. So how long has it been since they got rescued or since that attack? First of all, like that takes a while to get an injury to look like that. And I feel like they've done a very good job with like makeup and prosthetics and everything, like showing the wear on the body, like being as accurate as possible throughout the show, like with all the sun poisoning and things like that. So I have a feeling they're staying kind of true to like what real timelines look like for injuries, but I have no clue how long they've been on this island. Like it had to be, honestly, they've either been rescued for weeks and that would mean they've been in quarantine and not seen each other for weeks, or they left them there even longer after Rachel's attack. So, which it's Gretchen, so who knows what they did. We'll find that out. But my other big thing is the whole time they talk about Nora kind of in a past tense, like that she's no longer here. And you may be thinking, oh, that's because they found out she's the Confederate, and that might be the case. And that maybe Rachel's mad about the fact that her sister played a role in all of this. That's not where my mind goes. Like, watching it through twice, I still think the same thing as when I saw it the first time. Sounds like Nora died on the island. Because if you think about it, the only two girls that we do not see in the third timeline, the post-rescue timeline, are Nora and Marty. I'll get into Marty in a minute. But Nora, it sounds like they're making it seem like she died, which I doubt that that's the case. My theory is it'd be really messed up, but honestly, it'd be on par with the rest of the show. The shark was not a real shark, and that Nora's the only one that ran out into the water to save Rachel. So I feel like if it's not a real shark, they kind of use that as, oh, Nora got eaten by a shark, but maybe they took her somewhere. I'm hoping that that's the case and that she didn't actually die on the island. But I feel like that would be something Gretchen would do to kind of preserve the experiment, but get Nora out of there before anything bad happens. Because obviously Leah knows something's up with Nora. And so to kind of keep her from spilling the entire thing, I feel like they got her out of there. And maybe not the best, healthiest way. And they might have everybody thinking Nora died. So that's kind of what my theory is. If you have a different theory, let me know. But I'm thinking they faked Nora's death She's not really dead, but they're hiding her from everybody else. So obviously later on in the season, we find out that Nora's the other Confederate. My money was straight on Dot from episode 3 on. I thought it has to be her. Like, she's the one that knows so much about surviving, but when you rewatch it, you realize Nora does too. Dot's just more outspoken about it. So I was very shocked to find out that I was very incorrect in who I thought the other Confederate was. So now I want to talk about Shelby. I don't really feel the need to talk about Toni or Toni's past because I feel like she was pretty much an open book the entire time. Like, we could read into everything happening with her, and I don't think there was anything like sketchy happening that I need to talk about. Love Toni, but don't need to talk about her right now. Shelby, on the other hand, I honestly did not think that we were going to get with her past that she has already been attracted to women before. I didn't think that that was coming. I just thought Toni was going to be like an exception. Nope, she's not. So I like that. I'm okay with that. Obviously, she came from a very Christian background in Texas. I'm from Kentucky, also came from a very Christian background, not as heavy as Shelby's, but it can be really tough to be any kind of different in a Christian community. So I can see where she was struggling with. Also, her dad. We got to talk about the bowl. He threw away a bowl because it had sugary cereal in it. Psychopaths do that. Who throws away a bowl? And that was like a ceramic bowl. Obviously, red flag number 1, not a great home to be in. But he was very controlling and obviously had known guidelines to how his family was going to behave. Being gay, not a part of that. And he made that very clear later on in that episode. So you can definitely see how that will impact Shelby and how she presents herself to the world. And obviously you can see throughout the show, she starts to kind of not necessarily relax, but stop pretending. And you see she's not as cheerful as she comes off. Like, she tries really hard to put out that very outgoing, very happy exterior. And obviously, as time goes on, you can see how much that is weighing on her. Because you can see where they get to the point when she kisses Toni, things change. Like, she is not the same bubbly person. She gets a little dark there for a little bit. And I think that is just the whole weight of everything coming down on her, and it's coming hard. Also, just gotta note this for just a second. Did anybody else, when you watched the scene where Shelby kisses Toni, I'm not going to say out of nowhere because it wasn't out of nowhere, but when she kisses her for the first time and she like backs up and she's starting to freak out, I had to laugh my butt off when she started running away because I was like, it just looked so odd to me. That might be really bad of me to do that, but if anybody else thought that that was funny, please let me know so I'm not alone, but I might be alone and that's okay. I honestly think, even though Toni's got some anger problems, Toni seems to be like a very good person to be around while you're in the relationship. Yes, she has a temper. But I think her and Shelby, they're very cute, and I have very high hopes for them, and I think that they're going to be just fine in season 2. So hopefully we get some good content with that. Another thing about Shelby, there's just so much about her episode I need to talk about. First of all, I was shocked out of my mind to see her, when they reveal her in her episode 8, that she's like bald now. I was very much shocked by that. I didn't see that coming, which honestly, I just cut off a bunch of my hair. If I was on an island in the middle of nowhere, I would want to chop off all my hair too by the end of it. So like, I can understand why she shaved her head. I don't think that that was the reasoning into that happening. Also, her injury, she's on crutches. Don't know how that happened. Want to see how that happens. I don't think it's from rescuing Rachel because her and Toni like stopped at the edge of the water. They didn't go in together. So I don't know how this happened. I think they will spend a little bit more time on the island than probably they should have after Rachel got attacked. So I think there will be plenty of ways to get hurt after that. I also want to know, when did she also start getting suspicious like Leah did? Because that's who she wants to talk to in the episode, not Toni. She wants to get a message to Leah. I want to know why. When did that happen? Like, I'm a little confused. That's another reason I think that they spend more time on the island after the attack. Not really sure where that starts happening, but they did start to form that bond after Shelby kind of lost it and cut her hair. Is that episode 8? 8 or 9 when that happened? I think it was 8. And I saw a theory on TikTok. TikTok is a big source of information for me these days. Somebody was like explaining their theory of the poster, like the Wilds poster where they're running away. And if I can find the video again, I will try to link it down below so you all can watch it, because I don't know how well I can explain it. But if you look at the poster where they're all running away, the only people looking back are Leah, Shelby, and Nora. And the way that they explained it was Leah's looking back because she knows what's happening. Nora's looking back because she also knows what's happening because she's the Confederate and knows everything. And they said Shelby was looking back because she's starting to figure it out. So I thought that that was a pretty good explanation of kind of where we're at and how many people know what on the show right now, just given what we saw going through episode 10. So moving on from Shelby, we got to talk about Marty. I'm very concerned for Marty's well-being right now. I do not think Marty is alive. I really don't. I'm really concerned for Marty right now because she was the other girl that we did not see in the third timeline. And they also made it sound like she died. Obviously, Marty's character, very, very sweet, really loves animals. And when she got to the part where they basically had to kill the goat to survive, she killed the goat. She was not the same after that happened. It was a new, like, darkness over Marty. And she, in some spots, was still trying to be as cheerful as she is. But, like, you could see it weighing on her. And I don't think that she was the same after that. And honestly, don't know. But I don't know if Marty made it off the island. That's just my thoughts. And that's why I thought Gretchen was sending the one guy, I don't remember his name, the other guy that's pumping these girls for information, to dig into her past to find something. I either think it's because something happened and she died on the island, and obviously the family has a right to sue over that. Hopefully we'll find out what's going on with Marty. I really hope she's not dead because she's the sweetest human alive and does not need to die on this island. All right, so now I want to talk about the last episode, episode 10, things surrounding that, where at the end of episode 9 we found out that Nora was the other Confederate. Leah found that out as well. Not good. I was very shocked when I saw that through the first time. Watching it the second time, you can see like the little things that point to Nora being the other Confederate, but very shocked the first time. Very, very shocked. And so we learn about her past and her little first love, Quinn, who was just kind of as odd as Nora is. And obviously Rachel didn't like him, so they broke up. I think that maybe more played into that. I think Nora was just scared. And we learned that he died during some fraternity hazing, which in college I was in the Greek system. Hazing is no joke. That's horrible that that is the way that they ended his storyline in the show and brought that trauma to Nora that they needed. I think Gretchen had a hand in pretty much everybody's trauma that they experienced to get them to the right point to get on that plane. And that brings my theory that I really hope I'm really wrong on, because I think it would be horrendous. Now, the guy that's in jail for Quinn's death is one of the frat guys. So when Nora goes to the police station to try to talk to him and show him the life that he took, Gretchen's there. Now, when I watched it the first time, I didn't pick up on the guy's last name. Nora says it when she's there. It says, I'm here to see whoever. His last name is Klein. Now, I didn't pick up on that the first time, but Gretchen's last name is also Klein. She says to Nora while she's there, they're talking to each other, that Gretchen says that that's my son, I'm his mom. I thought she was lying the first time through. I was like, oh, she knew Nora would be here and she's trying to manipulate her into getting into the study and everything. But second time through watching it, heard that little detail, and I don't think that she's lying about being his mom, obviously, but I really hope I'm wrong. But I feel like she talked him in to maybe pushing the hazing too far. Like, I feel like she needed Nora for this study. She needed the other Confederate. And I feel like she had more to do with Quinn's death than just being the mom of the murderer. I feel like that's a stretch of a theory, but Gretchen is insane. So I feel like that is something that she would still do. So really hope I'm wrong. I am obsessed with this cast now, and they are all over my TikTok For You page. So I am going to try to link all the videos that I have really enjoyed so far down below, and hopefully you will enjoy them. Also, if you're also on TikTok and have seen videos, put them in the comments as well, because TikTok's like my life right now. Well, that's all I really wanted to talk about season 1 of The Wilds. Hopefully a lot of this stuff will get answered in season 2 that has already been renewed. I am so ready for that. I was worried that it was going to be another show from 2020 that I loved and got canceled, but it isn't. So I'm ready for it. If you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you're new around here, welcome to my channel, and I really appreciate you for watching. And if you could subscribe at the end of the video, I would really appreciate it. Well, that is all that I've got for you today, so I guess I'll see you next time. Bye.